ever look at your life and wonder, where's all the money gone? You work hard, you try to get ahead. This is America after all, the land of prosperity. But it has been and can be a struggle for most Americans, particularly young people. Washington Post had an article on June 23rd titled, "Millennials had it bad financially, but Gen Z may have it worse." It says, Gen Z is coming of age at a very different time from millennials, whose early days in the workforce coincided with 2 recessions. Many struggled to get jobs, particularly following the Great Recession, when the nation's unemployment rate hovered around 10% for over a year. On average, millennials lost about 13% of their earnings between 2007 and 2017, according to economist Kevin Rentz. By contrast, the recovery since the pandemic has been swift and broad. Unemployment was under 4% for the longest stretch in 50 years, and younger workers have seen some of the largest pay hikes. Still, rising prices are dealing an outsized blow to Gen Z. Compared with other age groups, adults under 27 devote more of their spending to basics like housing, dining out, gas, and car insurance, all of which have gone far pricier in recent years. Data from Moody's shows. We're at an inflection point. Gen Z is coming of age in a time of rising inflation and rising interest rates, and that will stay with them, said Jimmy Lentz, a financial economics professor at Duke University. There's the immediate impact, higher monthly payments on your credit card, but there are also going to be long-term impacts, like it's going to be harder to buy a home. Does this mean the American dream is dead? Will the boomers be the last generation to enjoy prosperity? I sure hope not. Join me in the Economic War Room, where we will look at 10 ways you're being made poorer and what you can do about it. We will ask and answer the big question, why aren't you rich? More to life than money. That's absolutely true, but you are among the hundreds of millions of Americans wondering, is the American dream dead? Does it still work? You try to get ahead, but it's really hard. You only have yourself to blame, right? No, I'm here to tell you it's not all your fault, at least not entirely. In fact, there are 10 powerful forces holding you back, and you directly control only one of them. Yes, you have a part to play, and there are things you can do today that will make a difference for your future. But before I dive into the 10 things holding you back, let's start with 3 universal truths that you must understand before you can identify and remove the terrible 10. First, you must understand that liberty and prosperity go hand in hand. The greater the liberty, the greater the prosperity. And by contrast, where there is no individual liberty, there is no prosperity. This has been demonstrated repeatedly by history. The American experiment was one of individual liberty. The Soviet Union was the opposite. When China, communists, began allowing individual liberty, China prospered. Hong Kong was once considered the freest place on earth. It was also the most prosperous. Since China cracked down on individual liberty, Hong Kong has lost ground. This will make perfect sense when we walk through the terrible 10. Now, the second underlying truth for our discussion is that government has no money. Everything a government spends has to be taken from someone else, either in the form of taxes or borrowing. And the third truth is that if you live beyond your means, you will never prosper. All 3 should seem obvious, but we ignore these basic truths daily in our politics and in our personal life. Given that understanding, let's walk through the 10 ways you're being made poorer, and then we'll look for solutions. Our goal is to help you and every American prosper. 1, let's start with regulation. This is a big one, and it costs more than you might imagine. Now, I'm all for smart regulation that keeps the air clean and the water pure, but we all know that there are a lot of rules that simply don't make much sense. It reminds me of the Simpsons cartoon where Homer crusaded for a stop sign at a dangerous intersection. It made perfect sense, it was a great idea, but he didn't stop there.